Here's a video for everyone for Disneyland Paris. We have been a couple of times now. When we did our Europe trips, we did a couple of days. So we haven't done massive trips there. We haven't done like week-long trips to Disneyland Paris like we do for the other parks. But we have done like 2 or 3 days there each time we go. So I'm just going to give you guys a few of the tips, tricks, hints, sort of things that we found was, you know, as we were there. What I noticed is that Paris is a lot smaller than, say, Florida. Obviously smaller than Florida. Smaller than, I would say, Tokyo. I would say not smaller than Hong Kong though. So, or even on a par with Hong Kong. But it is one of the smaller parks. There is still 2 parks there though. The Hollywood Studio side and the traditional Disneyland side. Which, you know, Disneyland, kind of the same as Disneyland California Adventure. Well, Paris has Disneyland Hollywood Studio. Okay, so my tip number 1 for Disneyland Paris is get there early. If you are staying at a Disneyland property, you do get magic hours, which, you know, allows you to go into the park a little bit, I think it's maybe 1 or 2 hours even for Paris before the general public. But you have to imagine that is all the Disneyland hotels going at the same time, and they do not open the whole Disneyland park up all at once. They open it in stages. So there's still a lot of people going into the park at magic hour, but it is magic hour. It is a benefit of staying at the Disneyland Hotel. If you have it, I would suggest using it. If you don't have it though, you can still do rope drop. And I mean, look, Disneyland is a magical place no matter what time of the day you go. But if you are trying to do a lot in 1 or 2 days, I would suggest accepting the fact you need to get up early, you need to go early, and you need to be there early. So as you're going in, with your ticket through the turnstile, grab a map straight away and a times guide. They are your lifesavers, especially because if you're coming from Australia to Paris and you haven't done like a SIM card or an international SIM, you don't have international roaming or whatever, you're just going with the free Wi-Fi spots like I do a lot of the time, you are going to love this handheld map that requires no data. There are English versions and other languages, of course, but English is always scattered around. They are very available. Cast members also have them if you lose your map, if you forget to grab it at the turnstile. Cast members that work at the shops especially have them, but also like the cleaners, everyone should have maps. You'll see them, they walk around with pouches full of pens, maps, everything. Everyone that works at Disneyland is helpful. Don't be afraid to ask anybody for questions, because even if if English is not their first language, they will still help you. Disneyland is fine in that aspect. So that's probably another tip, is do not be afraid of any sort of language barrier. There really is none at Disneyland. Somebody will help you. One of my big things is planning for Disneyland. I am an avid planner. I like to know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what's the plan, what's the time frame. But Disneyland Paris, we went on a whim. One of our trips, we went, oh, we're in London. The train is taking me to there tomorrow. If that makes sense. Can't even speak. The train is taking me to Disneyland tomorrow. Well, there was no planning. There was nothing. It was one of the best days. So do not stress if you're in the planning stages. Planning is fun and it makes it so much more exciting. But if it's just too stressful, don't worry about it. You can walk around Disneyland and not have you could walk around and not have a single idea where you're going, what you're doing, and you're still going to have a great day. There is so much to look at. There is so much to see. There are so many like little intricate things that you will find along the way that if you're planning to be, say you're at Big Thunder Mountain at 10, if you want to go to the Haunted Mansion at 10:45 and you must go from here to here, odds are you're not going to enjoy it because you're rushing. If you can take the time to just chill out, not stress, wander around at your leisure, that, you know, it's just as fun. I know a few people that go to Disneyland and they do not do rides at all. Not a single ride. They enjoy walking around, looking at everybody, people watching. People watching at Disneyland is amazing. There are so many happy smiles. Like, very rarely will you see an upset person, child, adult, anyone, really. So that's one of my tips, is to just not stress. Just try really hard, even though I know it's hard, to just roll with it. You are there. You are at the happy place. You are 3 steps above everybody else at home. You are there. You're enjoying it. Just live out the atmosphere. You know, smile. Under the castle is Maleficent the Dragon at Disneyland Paris. It's one of the unique things for Disneyland Paris. It's big. She's an animatronic and she's amazing. Like they said that she's 70 something feet. She's the biggest animatronic at Disneyland Paris and is one of the top tip things to see. It is unique to Paris. So that's why I like to find things for each Disneyland park that are unique to that park. Maleficent is definitely one of them. She's not at any of the others so far and is definitely something that I would recommend finding and hunting out. Also, while you're in that sort of area, if you would like a photo in front of the castle, but you don't want to fight the crowds and you don't want to, you know, like the awkwardness of, oh, let's quick do it. There's people coming or there's people in my photo and there's this and there's that. If you walk straight down Main Street and you come to the castle in all its glory, if you go down to the left, right, if you go to your left, there is like a circular area. It's right in front of the castle. You can get the most amazing photos of yourself in front of the castle there from the angle. Even though it's not directly on, it's close enough where you would be like, you're in front of the Disneyland castle. Like, it's not a side view, but it's not the front. But there are no people there. There's the odd person, obviously, but there's no 100 people in your photo. There's no, you know, quick, do it because there's people coming, going, walking in and out, etc. I love that spot. I always get a photo there. Parade and the fireworks are the best things to see early in your trip. If you have more than one day, especially. So my tips and tricks are pretty much for someone that is there 2 days minimum, 3 days, you know, a couple of days. If you go and do the fireworks and the parade as soon as you can. So like day 1, I always try to smash out the parade or the fireworks, either, you know, because that way any other day I know I can hear it starting, I can see the crowd is over there, and that is when I go and hit up rides. But if I'm constantly going, okay, I need to see a bit of the parade, or if that makes sense. So like really on day 1 I will go and I will find my spot and watch the parade. Then I know it's done. I've seen it, I've filmed it, I have loved it. Now I have that 45-minute window when everybody else is watching the parade to go and smash out some big ticketed rides, like Big Thunder Mountain. The wait will be less. Haunted Mansion, the wait will be less. The rides that have the bigger wait times, they're more tolerable during parade, and especially the fireworks. Everybody runs to watch the fireworks every night. And especially if we get to the park midweek, and that's one of my early days, it's not a hassle to watch the parade or the fireworks because there's not as many people obviously during the week as there are on weekends. So that is one of my, like, and it makes it less stressful, which brings me back to my stress point. If the parade is something that you really want to do, which I highly recommend, I would not go to Disneyland and not watch the parade. Any park, like, it wouldn't matter. Go watch the parade as soon as you can. It's less stress. You've done it. You don't have to wait around. You don't have to sit there. Just suck it up. Do the waiting. Do the parade. It's done. You have that 45-minute window every day of, you know, that all the crowd is going to head for the parade. You have free time to run to those rides or those meet and greets. But the fireworks especially. Another tip is if you can somehow, like, once you watch the fireworks another night, if you try and get in that Big Thunder Mountain ride, if you get in a Big Thunder Mountain ride, the firework view, even though it's for a split second, is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that's a little secret one. That's for every park as well, really, that has Big Thunder Mountain and fireworks, which is nearly all of them. Fast passes are amazing. Now, Disneyland Paris has the old school version of, you know, a ticketed machine, which I personally love. You pop your pass into the machine, the ticketing booth, which is at a couple of the rides, and it'll print you out a piece of paper, a little ticket that says, come back during this hour and this hour. There is at least one ride in each park at Disneyland Paris. I'm pretty sure Ratatouille is one for Hollywood Studios, And maybe it might be Peter Pan. No, it won't be Peter Pan. What? There is one other one for Disneyland. Space Mountain, maybe. Anyway, they have the fast pass rides. They also have some single rider lines. If you see a single rider line, and you're like time crunching, just do it. It's not scary. You stand with your friends anyway. You walk in all together. You still stand in line together. And instead of waiting that 45 minutes, it could be 20 minutes. You're still standing. It's literally just the ride that you will be by yourself for. And really, who cares? It's not as if you have a conversation mid-ride, you know, with the people you're sitting around. And 9 times out of 10, the very next ride, your person or friend that you're standing with will be coming off the ride as well. So you don't have to wait either way. If you don't like standing in lines, you get bored very easily. The thing we always have with us is our iPhone. Sometimes our iPad, depending on what's in Chan's bag, because he's the carrier of the bag. But my iPhone always has, like, what's it called? Heads up or heads and tails, what... celebrity heads, basically. Line games. Things to do in the line when you are at your wit's end of waiting. You have waited all day for every ride. You have not lucked out. You have not hit a walk straight on line. Have phone games. But not just for yourself, so you're sitting there any social. You'll find lots of people that are playing the games in the line, but you can involve other people. So there's been a few times we were standing in line and we were playing the Allen's Heads Up, whatever game it is. People next to us were playing with us, and then we started a conversation with them. And especially if you're international traveler, your accent, you are going to be heard. If you're standing there chit-chatting, people are going to hear you. People will ask you things like, whatever, just general chit-chat. Socialize, nobody else is happy to stand in that line. Like, everybody wants something to do, somebody to talk to. Most people will stand there and happily chin wag, and that line time will go so fast when all of a sudden you're smack bag in the middle of the conversation. It's like, oh, I have to go on the ride. It was lovely to meet you. Example, when we were in Animal Kingdom, we met Dawn, a great friend of ours. Every time we go to America or Disneyland, we catch up. And this is someone who we met in the line for, what was the ride? For the Matterhorn. Oh, I hate that ride. It was horrific. I screamed and screamed and screamed. But, yeah, we met her in the ride line. And simple, quick conversation, bang, friends. That's the beauty of Disneyland. You will make friends with anyone that you talk to because everybody is generally lovely. Another tip for when you're watching the parade, I like to sit right next to or behind a bin, especially if I want to film the parade. And so I used to sit on the very curved front row. We would wait the 45 minutes to an hour, which is generally what people will wait. So if you're heading for the parade and it's 45 minutes, you'll see people start to sit down. But to film from the angle, because I like to film the parade so I can watch it again and again and again later. From sitting on the because you have to sit down in the front row, it's not very good. Film wise, I mean, to sit down is lovely, and to watch the parade sitting down is lovely. But I try to stand so you'll see the bins, obviously, right there. You can sit up. You can set up your tripod or your camera or whatever you're filming with your phone. You sit it on the bin. Perfect height, perfect angle. Nobody's going to sit in front of you. Nobody's going to stand in front of you. So that's a tip. Head for the bins. Stand by the bins for the parade. It seems like an easy one, but people don't do it until the last minute. Meet and greets. A tip for just the people going without kids, the adults, do not be ashamed to get in every single character meet and greet you find. If you want to meet any character, do it. Nobody's judging you. Nobody, there are adults at Disneyland without children who go specifically to meet characters. I am definitely one of them. That's one of my highlights of going. Every single time we go, I will try and find a character that we haven't met before. I mean, it's getting hard because we've met a lot, but I will try and try and try. So do not that's my tip. Don't be worried what other people think. If you want to go up, and characters will not break character. I love it. So if you're talking to Snow White or Sleeping Beauty, You are talking to Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. There is no little hint or anything that you're not talking to Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. Characters at Disneyland in all the parks are amazing. Don't be ashamed if you have no children and you're worried that, oh, people are going to look at me because I'm getting a face. Nobody's looking at you. They are jealous that you're at the front of the line and they're standing in the back of the line waiting. Don't be worried. Just enjoy your interaction with them. For characters that talk, princesses, etc., have a couple of questions. Like, we met Eric one year. I had nothing. I was like, oh, hello, how are you, photo? And it was a little bit awkward until I thought, oh, just ask something like, oh, so how's Ariel? Full conversation with Eric about Ariel, and it was terrific. Or if you go a little bit prepared, you'll enjoy that interaction more than just, say, sitting back getting embarrassed. Because I get embarrassed, especially face characters, so the characters that can interact and talk to you. I do get embarrassed because I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm kind of starstruck, so to put. So it's not that I'm embarrassed that I'm meeting the character, it's embarrassed that I don't know what to say, or I am starstruck, or which sounds silly, but that's how I get. With the characters like Mickey Mouse and such that don't so much talk to you, I'm okay. Hi Mickey, how are you? Hug, kiss, blah blah blah. Photo. Thanks very much. I'm out. So between 11:30 and 1:30 is when I found that the most characters would come out. So besides your general meet and greet spots that are always pinned on your map, like there is a little icon and it will show you where a specific meet and greet time is for a specific character. Between 11:30 and 1:30, I noticed that characters were like coming out of the woodworks and they were walking through Fantasyland or through for Hollywood Studios. Like Remy came out and was obviously near the Ratatouille ride, but characters would just sort of appear and disappear. Like, so they do it every park. They walk around, but I'd noticed especially between 11:30 and 1:30, that was like peak time for characters for Paris. And there are some really cool characters in Paris. Now with merchandise, some of the tags will have the price in euros and in pounds. If it is in both, the chances of that item being on the Shop Disney website is higher. Especially for Australian, because we know we have luggage restrictions coming home. Everyone, overpacks, has so much stuff to bring home. It's one of those things that you could check up on the Shop Disney app. You could purchase it and they could ship it to you. It's not so much a Disney Parks item, it's just a Disney item. And with the UK Disney store, they ship to us, I think it's a flat rate for £25. I might need to double check that one, but I'm pretty sure it's £25 and they'll ship directly to Australia. So if you're luggage conscious with your weights and all that sort of stuff, with what you need to bring back, and you see pounds, maybe even just double check, hop on the Shop Disney. Is that something that you can get when you're home? Or is it something that you must get now because it's simply a park exclusive item, or it's just a Disney Parks item? So that's a little trick. If you see both the pound and the euro on the tags, we'll just change it because I ran to get something that I forgot about. So if you're looking for small items, so they do the penny press as well at Paris, as well as all the other parks. But something that I found that was cool and sort of unique to Paris, I haven't found it at any of the other parks yet, was this coin. So it's bigger than a penny press, and it's about the size of, bigger than almost, it's about the size of a 50-cent piece in Australia, but round. I'll show you this one here, if that is going to focus. I'll pop a photo up. I found these to be adorable, small keepsakes, friends, family, all that sort of stuff, but also for myself, because literally it's this big. It took up no space in my luggage. I put it in my pocket, in fact, or did I put it in my purse? I don't know. I put it in something and it came home. I didn't even notice it. No luggage restrictions, but on it, it has like the 1992 Disneyland Paris, blah, blah, blah. So that is something that I found in Disney Springs, which or not Disney Springs. Oh, I don't know what they call it now for Paris. Oh, that's a good one. I'll have to find that out. But in that area where all the restaurants and that sort of jazzes are. So must pack items for Disneyland Paris. Really, this list is for everywhere. For me personally, a power pack for your mobile phone. Disneyland, you're going to take 1,000 photos if you are like me, or, you know, little videos here and there. Phone dies instantly. The power pack, put that in your bag. That's my number one all the time. Power pack, power pack, power pack. Obviously your tickets. I would also recommend buying a lanyard or taking a lanyard from home, but getting one of the plastic pockets, because you can put all your tickets, your passes, your fast passes in there. Remembering that Paris is a paper sort of park still, the app doesn't have like the fast pass attractions and stuff on it. You're still getting the traditional fast pass ticket. You need somewhere to put it that's not going to get lost. If you lose it, that's it. That pass is your gold ticket in. So yeah, I got one of them, put them in around my neck at all times, you know. And if you don't like wearing things around your neck, it's still protected in this clear plastic pocket in your thing. The pin trading is also pretty good there for lanyards, etc. So if you wanted to buy a lanyard there, you could. There are lots at Paris Disney. Even though it might be, the weather looks fantastic for Paris, grey skies is generally a thing there, but when the sun comes out, man, does it get hot. Do not be worried if you see an umbrella. Put that bad boy up. There is nothing worse than standing in a line for any sort of attraction in the sun and having it beaming down on your head. Chuck the umbrella up. Trust me, the people next to you, as long as you're not hitting them in the head, are going to appreciate that little bit of shade that you're providing them as well. I always try to pop an umbrella into the bag, just a small one, not like, you know, not a Bunnings umbrella, just a small little umbrella, a little fold up one. Obviously the power pack, sunscreen, your sunglasses, hats, you know, general things. Now, when we go away, we take wee Jamie and wee Claire, which are our little traveling mascots. So for me, they're at the top of my list of things that have to go in the bag. They're not so much related to Disneyland Paris, but, you know, things that I must take, they're on that list. One thing we do always take to Disneyland, no matter where it is our pillow. Now, this might seem weird, but the pillow is what we have used to collect signatures on. When you meet and greet a character, they can sign. Majority of them. There is the odd one that won't sign. I think Mike and Sully can't sign, but Mickey Mouse, etc., can autograph things for you. You can buy books at the park. You can take your own. You can get them to sign pretty much anything, but we have had a pillow for a long time, so that's what we take. If you've found a Disneyland Paris tip or secret or little hidden away area or something unique to Disneyland Paris, please pop it in a comment down below. I would love to hear about it. I'd love to read about it, and then I'd love to go back and do it again one day and, you know, experience it as well. We do try to upload 2 videos a week, so if you'd like, hit subscribe. The little bell next to it will notify you if you click that as well when we do upload. And yeah, we'll see you soon, hopefully with more Disneyland tips and tricks or something. Bye guys!